At the same time, government sources tell Global News there's been a cyber attack on the Federal Department of Global
alongside Russian cyber criminals.
And in this case, in the United States, we probably won't have a good handle on how many U.S. businesses and U.S. consumers are affected until we...
was about 11.5 billion in 2020. It is 20 billion.
Most of us think that the cause of cyber attacks around the world is because of some ingenious software or a hacker. Hi, my name is Nitish Hejmadi. I'm the President and CEO of HoneyTek Systems and M87 Cyber. In 27 years, me and my team both, we've sat through multiple different cyber attacks. One thing we've come to realize when we sit through all these attacks is while companies try to do their best, they invest thousands of dollars getting the best software or best hardware that they think, they yet miss out on some really important and basic things. So imagine this. You're the founder of a startup and you're doing some research in drone delivery and etc. And you just raised millions of dollars as seed funding. You got some great public relations because you got good funding, and you are now looking at taking care of your security. You're doing bare required in the security part of it. You got firewalls, you got some intrusion detection. You think you're secure, right? The next thing you know is you get a call from your accounting department. Now he confirms to you that as per as your advice, a lump sum of money has been forwarded and transferred to your vendor in China. You sit there and you're like, what just happened? Because you never gave that advice. Guess what? Your accounts department has just been phished and your identity has been impersonated. All this and more can be mitigated with simple idea when you follow cyber hygiene. Cyber hygiene is a set of habitual practices that are put in place for safe handling of critical information in an organization. I would actually say that cyber hygiene and personal hygiene can be intertwined. If you don't maintain personal hygiene, I don't think there are any practitioners out there who can make sure that you will continue to have good health. Similarly, if you don't maintain cyber hygiene, I don't think there is any cybersecurity consultant that will say that, the health of your organization is going to be optimum. Recently I was at a presentation and somebody asked me this question: is this important to us? Will this ever happen to me? Why would I get compromised? Who am I? And I simply asked him, I said, when you left home today, did you lock your door? If you think you got important stuff in your house, you got much more valuables in your business. Today in the 21st century, data is money, and that's what they're after. So if you have data, it is valuable, and this is important to you. You should practice cyber hygiene. The gaps that we see in today's market is really not a technical gap. And that's what's the surprising part, because people are going and buying the latest technology, whatever is the hype in the landscape. The gaps that we actually see are that people are not investing in the correct products or solutions without actually doing a proper gap analysis as to what is your business, where do you operate, what markets you play in. If you just go and buy tools, they're not going to keep you safe. If you get a consulting team, it can be expensive, but if you want to do it by yourself, then it is available free out there on the internet. Everybody and anybody can do it. What is important here is, doesn't matter if you spend the money or you don't, but you do it. Because without doing this, everything else that you're spending could actually be a waste. And you would never get the value of all those solutions, and you may end up still having a breach to deal with. You won't believe, with the team we have here, with our experience in cybersecurity, you see, we've come to an understanding that every organization, the best report that they can get out of whether it be cyber resiliency or cyber hygiene or gap analysis, however you may put this, is to understand what is their exposure, right? So the team went on to actually map every safeguard that is there within cyber hygiene to a real world risk. If you don't have that safeguard, what is your risk? And then in the end of the report, it computes that into your exposure score. It provides immense value to an organization. It also provides you with actionable items. Right? Do this and your exposure becomes less. Right? Also remember, in the starting when I told you that it is very important for a business to understand it's what vertical it is in, what markets they play in, and what their threats are. All of these ideas are computed together using our own proprietary software. We've come to a prediction of their exposure. So it gives you an actionable report, clear-cut understanding of your exposure, and clear-cut understanding of what are your risks. Absolutely, and there's no charges for any of this. Cyber hygiene is an important part of every business. The fight of cyber criminals and cyber crime is not a single man's fight. There is no single bullet that can make you secure. Buying the latest and the greatest is not the only solution. You need to buy solutions that fit in the roadmap towards cyber resiliency.